should get out on the floor, go and get your sexy out. If you know that you better than a new girl daddy out, go ahead and tell him now. You gon' miss me when I'm gone.
Ayo, Cece, let me show you how to do a singing bitch greasy. You was by Lennox, you're the one on Peachtree. I was with Dimitri, see you when you're loving hip-hop in DC. But these petty niggas is a bitch motto. If I say it on wax, every bitch follow. If I'm sipping in the club, mix Moscato. I got a big fat ass, big dick follow. Hit it with the back shot, hit it with the ass shot, hit it to the pink, then I hit it with the cash drop. I do it big, I hit it with the cash lock. I'm gonna ball, I hit it with the mascot. No, I never been here, but I like the Bangkok. Big fat titties when I hang on my tank top. You gon' play me? On Instagram, nigga tryna shade me, but your bitch at home tryna play me. I'm Nicki and Weezy and baby. Yeah, fuck you and your lady, cause but you bitch, you shady. Now which bitch won it? Cause that bitch get it. I gave it to you, bitch. Don't fucking
I just went through a breakup. It's okay, I got my cake up. You might have put on some makeup. Tryna see what tonight gon' take us. I post some pics up looking sexy. Now this nigga won't text me. How much you won't bet me? He gon' regret the day he left me. Celebrating the break in the boo. Why don't you go ahead and pull me a little more? Tonight we gon' have us a good time. Let's have a toast to our good times. Oh, ladies, it's your song, so as soon as this come out, you should get out on the floor, go and get your sexy out. If you know that you better than a new girl daddy out, go ahead and tell him now. He gon' miss me when I'm gone now. I'm out. Miss me when I'm gone now. I'm gone. Now tell me, do my ladies Mondays? Not even Hammer can touch this. You standing up on all the couches. Tomorrow you gon' hear about this. This is what you hearing through your speakers. That's why we dance until I beat her. See, I found out he was my problem. Tonight I came out here to solve him. Yes, breaking the boo. Why don't you go ahead and pull me a little more? Tonight we gon' have us a good time. Let's have a toast to our good times. Oh, ladies, it's your song, so as soon as this come out, you should get out on the floor, go and get your sexy out. If you know that you better than the new girl daddy out, go ahead and tell him now. You gon' miss me when I'm gone now. The way I put it on you got me going trippy. You wanna come back for it, wish then you can get it. No, I got you hot, make you stop when you see me. You got your hand down, talking about gimme.
Ladies, it's your song, so as soon as it come on, say fuck these petty niggas, if these niggas did you wrong. If he got a new business, tell that bitch meet you outside. And pop out like a Molly, tell that bitch it's back at night. Winning, I'm winning, the end and the beginning. I send them on an errand, then I stun them like my children. Couldn't get a fan if it was hanging from the ceiling.
So that song is called I'm Out. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, but it has Nicki Minaj in it, and I really couldn't think, so I decided to do this one. I don't really have ideas for any other songs, but that song is called I'm Out, and I'm gonna put a link to that video in the description box below. But for right now, it's time to go back into my Stepbrother. I have not checked and see if there's any updates for the football player and the emo boy, but I decided I'm not gonna look at those until I get done with this book. But it matters. Next week I am not sure what I will be doing, but it will be GSA related. Maybe something will be on this channel. If there's not any, like, let's see, if there's not 7 more chapters up by Monday of this football player and the emo boy. So if there's 8 chapters, I'll be happy, because I already read chapter 1 and I need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. So I need 8 chapters by next Monday. But if there is not, I will keep reading my Stepbrother. But I'm trying to think. So in the last chapter, we found out that Trace has been acting a little bit weird since Corey got hurt. So, let's figure out what's actually going on with Trace. So in the last chapter, it started pouring, they were walking home. Corey was on Zeke's back. Zeke wasn't looking where he was going. He stepped into a puddle, and there was a crack in the road. His foot got stuck. He literally slipped and literally fell face forward. I think so. And then Corey apparently slipped off Zeke's back, rolled all the way down. Trace grabbed Zeke, but he didn't have enough time to grab Corey. Corey was already down, and he was like all bloody. Yeah, and apparently, when Brandon started cleaning his cut, he's like, Trace holding on his arms in case he tries to, like, wail, like, starting. So yeah, Corey got hurt. He was screaming at the top of his lungs with Zeke, Juliet, and Trace there in front of them while Brandon was cleaning his cut on his forehead. So let's jump into this. Chapter 8. Corey, bad boy, stay. No, you can't make me. Ugh. Mom sighed in annoyance, flicking my nose as I hissed and swatted her hands away from her. I bared my teeth and growled when she grabbed my wrist. Help! Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my private square. R-A-P-E. Get your dick out of me, I screamed and tried to struggle out of her. Corey, you aren't impossible. Only you could run a fever and still put up a fight about staying in bed resting. She cried in frustration, clear on her face. Mom, you know I can't just sit in bed. I did that all freaking yesterday. I whined and slumped against the pillows and crossing my arms stubbornly and glaring. Mom rolled her eyes at me. Corey, that's because you woke back up yesterday. Your fever may have broken overnight, but it's back now, so please just rest in the bed for one more day, she said and forced patiently in her voice. No, I won't do it. You'll have to kill me first. Your fever is gonna kill you before I get the pleasure, she snapped. Pleasure? How rude, I cried and pouted. Will you shut up? You're so loud, Trace snapped, popping into my room and glaring at me in annoyance. Sheesh, he was always annoyed, wasn't he? I probably get bored from being his annoyance all the time. Hey, I'm the sick one, I argued, sticking out my tongue at him. So you shouldn't be loud, he grumbled. I opened my mouth and snapped it shut, opening it again and shut it again. Trace looked pleased that he had shut me up. Well, now I couldn't let him keep me quiet. Psh! Nothing and no one could keep Corey Arnold Sanders quiet. I score on you, I said with a smug grin. Trace, please look wiped off his face and glared at me. It was luck. It was rain. The ball was wet, he growled. I shook my head with a smug grin, getting even wider. Excuses. It wasn't raining when I shot you the first time, I pointed out. He pointed a threatening finger at me. I raised my hand in defeat. Whoa, don't shoot me with your finger. You could kill someone like that, I said with a frown. He flipped me off and glared harder. When you're back, you're gonna come practice with me and Zeke. You won't keep scoring on me like that, he assured at me fiercely. I chuckled and coughed and shrugged. Sure, Trace, sure, I said with a wink. I buried my mouth in my elbows as I coughed a few more times. Mom handed me a tissue. I blew my nose and made a disgust face. Gross, I hate snot, I said as I chucked the tissue in the garbage and in a plate that they had placed next to my bed. I moved to get out of the bed, but my mom basically body slammed me back into bed. I winced and gave her the puppy dog eyes. Please let me stand up, Mommy, I whimpered. Sure, tomorrow, she said with a sweet smile, and I meant a sweet smile, I mean a crocodile smile. When she was planning to kill me, I knew I never trust a mother. Trace, help me! I begged my stepbrother. He raised an eyebrow and slouched against my doorframe, shaking his head at me, and looking so attractive that if I weren't sick and weak, I'd probably slap my mom in the face with a massive erection. Oh, that woman got lucky this time. You're on your own. You want to be all cocky and stuck up? I ain't helping you. He sat flatly and groaned. My mother slowly released her deep grin on me. When I didn't try to get up again, she leaned back in satisfaction. It's just so you don't overexert yourself and, like, die or something, she said with a shrug. Funerals are expensive. I chucked a pillow at her face. Why, get out of my room, you jerk. I whined and she laughed and set the pillow down, leaving my room. You're so annoying, Trey said, still leaning up against the doorframe. And you're so pissy, I grumbled. Trace rolled his eyes and shrugged at me, not caring. He came into my room and looked around a little. He glanced at me. You ever had a boyfriend, faggot? He asked, flatly. I nodded and sighed. Yeah, his name was Ryan. Hey, me too. He broke up with me last year, though. I said with a slight shrug. Trace made a disgust face. How can you do that? How can you date someone of the same gender? That's so fucking... ugh. It's beyond disgusting and wrong, he shook his head. I shrugged again and smiled brightly. Well, that's okay. You can have your homophobe opinions, and I'll have my homosexual wants. The fact is, I'm a boy who likes boys, and my homophobic dick of a stepbrother isn't gonna change that. I said, my smile turning into a smirk. Trace flipped me off. I'm not a dick, he snapped. I basically started bouncing on my bed. You're a dick, you're a dick. I sang cheerfully, smirking wider at him. Corey, shut it before I hurt you, he growled, clenching his fist tightly. Trace is a dick, Trace is a dick, Trace is a dick. Oh, get off me. Trace had jumped on me, and I was now trying to fight him off. As he tried to slap me with his hand, slapped his hand over my mouth, I shrugged against his and grated his teeth. He managed to get one hand over my mouth. I licked it violently, and he pulled away in disgust. Rape, rape, I screamed before he brought both of his hands down my mouth. Trace, get off him, Brandon cried furiously, coming into my bedroom. Trace glanced at his father and glared at him before slowly pulling his now saliva-drenched hands away from my mouth. Trace wiped his hands on my face, and I swatted them in disgust. Gross spit, I cried, and wiped my face with my pillow. It's your spit, idiot, he snapped. Well, it should be on my face. God, Trace, you're so stupid sometimes, I said with an impatient sigh, rubbing my face with my shirt now. Trace's mind explained to me why you were trying to suffocate your already sick stepbrother, Brandon asked, glaring at Trace. He isn't being annoying, saying I'm a dick, Trace grumbled, getting off me, and then secretly made me sad. I liked the feel of his body on mine. It was so warm and comfortable. Warm, comfortable. Stepbrother, he's your stepbrother? He's your stepbrother, Corey. Stepbrother, he's your stepbrother, Corey. Well, you've been acting like one to poor Corey. The kid's sick, and you're over here trying to suffocate. Brandon cried and pulling Trace away from my bed. Trace glared and yanked his arm out of Brandon's grip. Trace pointed at me. Tomorrow you're shooting at me again, and I'll show you who silks. He said simply before leaving my room. Brandon sighed and shook his head, smiling at me lightly. Sorry about him, Corey. So you caught the interest with soccer, huh? That's the way you do it, he said with a wink. Trace loves soccer. He's been looking for someone to practice with. He told me you were good at shooting, but he didn't tell me I told you. He grinned and returned it. What about Zeke? I asked curiously. He seemed good. Brandon nodded, coming over and sitting on the edge of my bed. Oh yeah, Zeke's really good at soccer, but he practices with Trace so long, Trace can predict where he's gonna shoot, he explained. Alright, I'm gonna stop the video here.